What's up, cool people? I'm Matt Conroy, and now that some of the initial shockwaves have worn off, I wanted to just give a couple of thoughts and feelings that I had in regards to the recent death of Chester Bennington. For those of you who don't know, he was the lead singer of Linkin Park. And if you don't know what Linkin Park is, then you're missing out in life. First off, let me just get out of the way the whole little blip on the radar conspiracy theory type thing that people were going off on for about a day, trying to say that it wasn't actually a suicide, that it was actually staged to look like that, but it was murder of this coming from this one dude who was a pedophile or something like that. And they're trying to cover up some big, like, crime ring, basically. And okay, look, I'm not gonna try and either confirm or deny something like that, but can we please not, like, in the immediate wake of something like this, of this kind of big news and that sort of stuff, can we not just muddle up the situation with these true or not theories on things? I mean, if you have evidence of some kind of truth that the general public is legitimately missing, and you know for sure it's true, then okay, feel free to say something about it. But, like, don't go on, like, a half-hour tangent or, just this giant rant about something, like, basically getting annoyed with people, calling them out, saying they're stupid or whatever for not noticing the real truth of the situation. No, I could tell just from the way most of the people were posting about this kind of thing that it was all just some big troll conspiracy fake story thing. Or at least that was the general conclusion that I came to, just based on how the people were acting and reacting on social media about that. Back to Linkin Park and Chester Bennington, man. I don't know if you've noticed, but Linkin Park is, pretty significant in my music collection. I have, like, almost literally all of their stuff, and they were a big part of that kind of transition in my music appreciation, or kind of the expansion, I guess you'd say, of what I like in music. And it's just, I don't know. It's complicated. I want to try to explain how I feel without seeming like callous or uncaring, because it's definitely a big thing. And, like, I'm not quite at the level of, like, sad about it. I'm kind of bummed out, I guess you'd say, at least. And it's definitely not something that I would wish upon anybody. But at the same time, like, especially given the way Chester sang and a lot of the lyrics that he came up with, the way he described his struggles and all that. I mean, like, first off, let me just say he was, like, pretty much constantly crying out for help in some way or another. And just because, he's a musician and it makes for good music, that doesn't mean that he's lying about it like it's not a personal struggle of his, or that he has it all together. Like, I feel like this is kind of related to some of the stuff I was talking about before with, like, suicide and the bullying and all that. Because, I mean, Chester has admitted he was abused early in his life, and that he had all these demons, for lack of a better word, messing with his head all the time that he was struggling with. And so, I mean, in as kind a way as possible, I feel like I'm not exactly surprised at Chester killing himself, assuming he did, which is the general consensus. At the same time, like, I just wish that whatever it would have been that could have helped him sort through it without him killing himself. Whatever that, like, I don't wish death upon anybody. Even if it's somebody that I absolutely am annoyed as all heck with, like Donald Trump, I don't wish death upon anybody. So, like, I don't know. It's a complicated mix of things that I feel about all this. Supposedly, according to Linkin Park and Mike Shinoda in particular, they're gonna keep trying to do stuff, but obviously they need some time to regroup at the very least. But how do you move on after something like, you can't replicate Chester Bennington's vocals? Like, you just can't. So, if they do continue making music, I feel like it's probably going to go in a different direction. It's certainly going to sound different, but then again, Linkin Park has been sounding different for like almost a decade now, really. And I sense a whole lot more of the Mike Shinoda influence in a lot of their more recent stuff than I did early on. I'm open to the possibility of them having more music, and I'm realizing it's going to sound and feel different. It just is. And, you know, I think some of the stuff that they've done more recently, and the fact that that sounds different than what they started off with, is probably going to make that transition into whatever they do next a little less of a contrast. It's not going to be as much of a shock as it would be, I think, had they not kind of been doing some of the more experimental stuff with their music lately. So, I don't know. I'm a fan of Linkin Park. I kind of hope they keep doing stuff in a sense, but at the same time, I'm just kind of sitting here scratching my head, like, how in the world are they gonna, like, how are they gonna do anything without getting some, you know, massive kind of backlash on stuff? Because, like, you don't replace somebody like Chester Bennington. You don't let, it's not an act you can top. I was actually watching a video or reading something from David Draymond, the lead singer of Disturbed, talking about how Linkin Park opened up for them one time. He was just like, okay, guys, we're going to need to step up our game here. These guys are good. And a lot of that had to do with Chester and his vocals and just the band's stage presence and how Chester contributed to that. So anyway, yeah, I do feel like, in a sense, not to toot my own horn by any means, but, like, you know, given the recent stuff I was talking about with suicide and bullying, depression, mental health, all that kind of stuff, I feel like what Chester went through and his ultimate suicide kind of emphasizes the point even further. It's not to say that this for sure had a contributing factor, but I do feel like a lot of the backlash Linkin Park was getting for, you know, selling out or having too much of a pop kind of feel to their most recent album, I can't help but wonder if that might have contributed a little bit to Chester's thought processes and his ultimate decision to take his own life. I don't know, but you can't deny the possibility of it. So, I don't know. Anyway, I've rambled on enough now. Go check out my other videos on suicide and bullying if you want more of my thoughts on that kind of stuff and how I feel that may have contributed to what happened with Chester. But anyway, again, I'm not here trying to self-promote or toot my own horn too much. Anyway, I guess that's going to do it this time around. You know what to do if you like the video, all that good stuff. Feel free to leave comments down below with your thoughts on Linkin Park, on Chester, on any and all stuff related to this. If there's an angle on this that I'm missing, let me know, because I like to have complete information, but I don't want to let the lack of complete information keep me from talking about certain things, especially while they're relevant. So anyway, that's going to do it. I hope you're all doing well. Hopefully you'll tune in for the next video, but in any case, stay cool, people.